Stu Peters Show. My name is Stu. Well, NATO had a big meeting this week. They put it in Vilnius, Lithuania. That's the capital of the former Soviet Republic. One of the 30 places that 30 years ago we promised we'd never expand NATO into. Well, of course, because we live under the empire of lies, we broke that promise, creating enormous distrust with Russia and leading directly to this enormously dangerous war that we're funding right now, thanks to Kevin McCarthy, who, by the way, promised not to fund the war. So what happened at this NATO meeting exactly? Well, in essence, Joe Biden says that the Ukrainians have defeated Russia in Ukraine, and he says that he'll drag out the status quo for as long as he can. Little man Zelensky with 4 Ys was there. He still had no suit, but he did upgrade from that t-shirt that he usually wears to some green jumpsuit looking like a janitor. Zelensky was hoping that he'd talk NATO into letting him in, but of course they're just stringing him along like usual. They announced that they're letting in Sweden, but not Ukraine. We have a bunch of photos illustrating this, with Zelensky standing alone as this lonely little goblin, it looks like. Various different photo ops, all by himself. So Lil Zelensky basically got invited to the prom, but then stood up by his date. Biden said bluntly, hey, Ukraine will never be let into NATO as long as they're at war with Russia. And that war with Russia is all set to just keep going because Biden has promised to keep funneling your money there for as long as he can get away with it. And of course, with little Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, how long is apparently forever. But it's not just NATO that's snubbing Zelensky. The other day, Zelensky complained that he invited Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to visit, and he got blown off. By the way, he was also blown off by Israel's other 2 recent prime ministers. But there's more. Israel promised to supply Ukraine with an air defense system, but they still haven't. I wonder if Washington is playing a role there. Maybe they don't want effective air defense over Ukraine. Maybe they've just decided that the right number of pulverized buildings and blown up civilians are the right combo for keeping the public on board with this war. The more innocent Ukrainians that are dying and being obliterated, the more Ukrainian flags are flying on U.S. soil, the more simps, the more support for McCarthy and Joe Biden and all of your money, hundreds of billions of dollars, being funneled into this shithole country that means absolutely nothing to our American national security. You're not talking about Ukraine at your dinner table. It doesn't matter to you about Ukraine. Zelensky is maybe starting to realize what his purpose is. His country doesn't get to join NATO. They don't get to develop real prosperity. Instead, they exist as this geopolitical speed bump for our enemy. Washington loots you, the taxpayer, sends all of the cash to Ukraine, and then Ukrainians do the actual dying. Nobody in Washington is in danger. Our defense contractors get rich. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Pfizer, Buttslut, Lindsey Graham, all of his cronies. So do the drug-addicted, warmongering loser sons of our illegitimate president. And, you know, we're guessing that President Zelensky is well compensated for his role as well. He's an actor playing his role in a movie. He's not losing out on this arrangement, only his country is. The hundreds of thousands of ordinary Ukrainians are the real losers, getting fed into a military meat grinder so that DC war hawks like Raytheon and buttslut Lindsey Graham can brag about how tough on Russia they are. Ukrainian civilians are the losers, stuck in a war-torn country or evacuated abroad as refugees and soon-to-be human trafficking victims. But all joking aside, we have to keep recognizing the main reason that this war is so bad. It's because it's insanely suicidally dangerous. This NATO summit meeting, Biden recommended sending cluster munitions to Ukraine. Just last year, he said cluster bombs were a war crime, but now we're urging Ukraine to use them. How would we expect Russia to react to that exactly? Well, Washington expects them to do nothing. But Russia has thousands of nuclear weapons, allegedly. Their political situation is more unstable than ever. The coup against Vladimir Putin failed, but the struggle to control the Russian war effort is still on. And make no mistake, Russia is not currently ruled by its most hawkish elements. There are people in Russia who want to use nuclear weapons to fight and win this war, just like there are lunatics here in the United States who think nuclear weapons are safe to use. These cluster bombs, just like advanced tanks and advanced jets, are just another step of escalation toward this blowing up into World War III. And that's exactly what these assholes want. Instead of a serious push toward peace, we get more promises of forever war and fantasies about Ukraine retaking Crimea or invading Russia itself. These people are nuts. We're led by deranged lunatics who literally will not be happy until they've ignited the World War III that they want so badly. Edward Zoll has been looking into all of this, and he joins us now. Edward, do people realize how fake this is? I mean, look at these pictures of this little goblin over here. This actor playing his part in this war. It's so fake. Do people get it now?
I don't think they do, Stu. And look, this robber goblin, and that's what he is. He doesn't own a suit. Apparently, he likes to show up as this victim at every event he can, whether it be speaking to our fake pedophile Hollywood elite or speaking to the presidents and prime ministers of the world, who for them, we don't know if they're even elected.